Supplement pricing. Should you go cheap? Should you go pricey? Does that make a difference? How do you know if you were served up an ad if it's the right thing or not? Well, just like I would teach you with your own body and your own fitness and your nutrition, you've got to be your own health advocate and your own health detective. So don't just take an ad for, happen to see that one thing is on sale or it's a pricey thing or this is more expensive, so it should be that. You've got to be your own health detective and really dig and go deep and understand what you're taking. I'll tell you, with technology, one thing I've done, and this is super cool, if you are using any kind of AI or like ChatGPT, I love my ChatGPT is basically like my therapist at this point, but I actually created a project in my ChatGPT where I call it supplements, and I literally upload every supplement that I'm taking to there. And what I like about doing that is it'll cross-reference and say, okay, you're taking all these supplements, Natalie, but did you know that this one also has a similar ingredient to that one? Or your detective work, make sure you're cross-checking, because what you don't want to do is add something in. Meanwhile, you've been on all these other things from your doctor and you realize now you're getting too much of something. So be your own health detective. Also, it's very important to add one thing at a time and really listen to your body. So never just go order 20 supplements and start taking them all at once. Start one thing at a time, give it a few days, make sure your body's not reacting, notice things, and then you can keep going. But you got to be your own health detective. It's not just price. It's not just a label. It's not just because you saw an ad. It's listening to your own body. So we can absolutely get vitamin D from the sun. And I love the sun. I think the sun is healing. It helps us produce dopamine. It puts us in a better mood. Heck, if you ever doubt that, just literally go out in nature, be in the sun for a little bit, and you'll notice that your mood changes. It feels really good. That being said, if you're like me and a woman in your 50s, you've also lived through the years of overexposure and sunspots and maybe even some skin cancers. Now, I'm not even going to get into the argument here of does the sun cause what, because I know there's a whole controversy you can find online about sun healing everything or the sun damaging everything. I'm going to tell you where I stand is somewhere right in the middle. I think we absolutely need the sun. I think it's very healthy for us. We need to get it in for light regulation, a lot of reasons. However, it will rapidly age your skin. There's no denying that. If you don't believe me, go overexposed. You'll remember in 20 years that I told you this. But my years of chronic sun exposure in my teens and my early 20s produced a lot of brown spots and even some basal cell carcinomas that I've since removed. So my personal thing is I want at least 15 minutes in the morning and in the afternoon in direct sun without sunblock, sunglasses, hat, anything. I want that because I do want the natural sunlight. But other times throughout the day, if I'm walking outside, I'm wearing a visor, a hat, I'm covering up, or I'm even putting mineral sunblock on my face. You'll see me walking in some videos. I even cover my chest. I just don't want any more vanity sun damage on me. No denying the sun's healthy for us. I just don't personally want that on me. So I'm going to supplement with vitamin D because even getting your 15 minutes twice a day, we're probably getting enough vitamin D in our bodies. If you're like my husband and you're literally laying out with sun every day for 2 hours, you're probably getting plenty of vitamin D from the sun, which is great. But if you're like me and you don't want that, I would supplement with vitamin D. Regarding estrogen and testosterone and progesterone, like how do you take it? Like, do you want a pill form? Do you want an injectable? Do you want topical? Different trains of thoughts on different things. And I've just gone with my own research, deep diving, my gosh, almost 500 conversations on my podcast, Midlife Conversation, with experts, and then just my own gnarly amounts of research. This is what I've come up with. Now I'm going to share this as a girl with a camera and a mic right now, who is nutrition and fitness expert. I am not a hormone expert. So take this as your friend telling you this. That's all it is. This is not medical advice. But progesterone oral is very safe for our bodies from what I've come to understand and read. Probably one of the most safest hormones out there. When it comes to estrogen, a lot of controversy around that and a lot of different forms of estrogen. I personally like estradiol because that's what I want to replenish. That's what gives us a lot of these side effects when we are massively depleted in it. And I believe, personally, Natalie here with the camera and the mic, not a doctor, believe that it's the safest for us when we do it transdermal. When it's going transdermal on your skin, it is not going through your liver. So we're gonna reduce the chance of that toxic overload. When you're taking it orally, it is going through your liver. I'm not a fan of that. And when you're doing the injection, that's also not topical. We're getting a lot more of it. So I personally, for me, choose to do the topical. I feel, in my mind, it's the most safe. I also want to share what you believe holds true to your body. So if you believe something is healing you or hurting you, you are right. So there's a lot of power behind that. I, from everything I've learned, have believed that the topical is going to be the safest, and that's why I choose to do that. For testosterone, the only reason I don't do the cream on my body right now is I was told by several doctors I'll start growing hair in weird places, and I don't want that. So that's why I choose not to do that. Also, the reason I choose the patch on the estrogen versus the cream is I don't want the cream to get on my husband. So if you've got pets, husbands, children, whatever, your cream will transfer. So if you're using testosterone or estrogen cream, it's going to get on your pets and other people. So be aware of that. Peptides is a whole other multi-billion-dollar topic at this point, I believe. So I was a fan of peptides years ago. I experimented with BPC 157 before everyone was talking about it. And I did that for healing because of being someone who's had chronic pain and injuries over the years. BPC 157 to me was something that I used on and off to help with things. Now peptides has kind of gotten out of control. There's a lot of them. And let's start with, there's some of the growth ones like smorelin, ipamorelin, all these growth ones. I'm not against any peptide. I just think there's a lot more research that needs to be done. And I think you really need to be working with your own personal doctor on this, not just a wellness influencer or somebody like not overseas on some random website. You really need to talk with the doctor and be supervised around this. There's a lot of dangers if they're done wrong. I experimented with it once. I stopped them, and I'll tell you why. I stopped them because anything that increases growth factors to me can also increase tumor growth. And to me, I don't want to take anything outside of my body that could possibly exacerbate or grow a tumor. Again, I'm not the doctor here. This is not my expertise on that, but from what I've learned, that makes me scared. I did recently do BPC 157 after my most recent back surgery for a small amount of time, and now I'm complete with it. It's not something I'll be doing regularly because anything that creates growth could create a problem later. Then the more important ones that people are talking about lately are all of the GLPs, the GLP-1, the GLP-2. I'm not against any of those. I think they are life-changing for many, many people. My preference is to be under a doctor's supervision to make it work for you, not just randomly buying it from a website, but really understanding what you're doing with it. And if you're doing it for weight loss, to really be making sure you're changing all of your habits and doing everything that goes along with it, because it's not just take a shot and do nothing. It's making sure you are eating nutrition-dense food. It's making sure that you're still moving your body. You're doing all the other things with it.